Hey kids, so here's a fun one for you. I'm going to post the two pictures for you so that you can see this. The world's changing exponentially, and anyone who denies that is living under a rock, but it doesn't have to be scary. It's wild. It's incredibly fascinating. But I wanted to share something that happened recently. Back in March, on the 29th of March, I woke up only to, like a split second after it happened, to find that something had been implanted in my thumb on the 29th of March during the night, and I literally caught it just as it was finishing up. And so since then, I've had this thing under my skin, and it was like creeping down, and it was like crazy itchy and just strange. But it was like, most definitely, you'll see by the photograph, it's an implant, you know, and I don't care what your belief system is on that. I'm sharing you because I love to share the information of something that might be outside of your perception of what's going on. Because like I said, a lot of people who think a lot of people like me are kind of lula, or not even kind of, but are totally lula, their worlds and their paradigms are getting ready to shift and change. And so we're trying to gently drip it in so that you don't get a huge shock as things continue to unfold and unravel. So we try to do this with love and humor. And look, it is what it is. We all chose to be here during this time and to partake in all of this. And so, you know what, just make the most of it, and have some fun with it. And, live each day like it's your last. And it doesn't mean that it is your last, but what you want to do is you want to live in such a way that you are fulfilling what you came here to do. So anyway, back to the 29th of March when I wake up and I have this thing. So that's been 5 months, nearly to the day. I was taking the dogs out last night, and it was about 12:30, and I see this thing, and I'm going, is that a meteor? It doesn't look like a meteor because the trajectory was perfectly straight. And so across it went, and then as it burned out here, boom, there was this thing here, and I was like, and it looked like a big-ass craft, and had different lights around it and all that. It was really wild. So I'm like just standing there, literally like 20 minutes. So let the dogs go do their business and all this, and then it just disappeared, and so did I. Went inside and got ready for bed and went to bed. Well, I awakened this morning to a friend calling me to see if I had seen anything last night, and I went, well, as a matter of fact, I did. And she was like, yeah, so did my mom, and I just wanted to check because she doesn't live that far from you. And I was like, yeah. So we compared notes, and sure enough, we'd kind of seen the exact same thing. And I'm like, oh, that's fascinating, whatever. So I get up and I start getting ready for work, and I look down and I realize that thing that was put into my thumb on the 29th of March had been literally cut out. I'll show you that you'll be able to see better for the pictures. And so this thing that has been kind of plaguing me, and it has distorted my skin for whatever reason it was there, for whoever put it there, whatever. I'm like, rock on, I'm here for the full whack. I'm not, I don't feel violated or abducted or whatever. I'm like, I'm here participating in whatever this reality is because it's so freaking fun and so ridiculously sublime, and I love it. But anyway, so I get up, and this thing, this lump that's been under there, there's an incision here, and it's gone. And I'm like, okay. So what I am watching is over the course, it's like, 3:30 right now, 3:40. And over the course of the day, I'm like highly energetic anyway, even when I'm not. But I am feeling this sense of well-being come over me that is like indescribable. And it's not like a manic anything. It is since March, since April kind of, I'm in here with my hands on people all day, every day. So I've probably been exposed to whatever that thing is 1,000 times, and had it in many various stages and forms, because I've got my hands on people, and it's great because it's the most wonderful natural form of inoculation, to be breathing in people's germs, to be getting it all in, allowing my body to deal with it, process it, whatever. But I've had kind of a lower, just slightly lower feeling of well-being for probably the last 5 months. And so it's really fascinating. I get up this morning, I look down, there's this perfect incision here, and this event took place last night. Do they have anything to do with each other? I don't know. But do I know that something that was in there is no longer in there? You better believe I know it for certain. And all of a sudden, I'm like really feeling well, like really well. And, you know, I had a stomach virus a couple of weeks ago. I've had just kind of like, and I'm like, oh, lovely menopause. I'm, you know, just always kind of just sweaty, clammy, not feeling great and all this. And it's like, does that mean that that's gone? No, but I am watching this state of well-being kind of descend on me again that is noticeably different than the last 5 months. So it's really fascinating. So what was in there? Who knows? What was it doing? I don't know. I've never had any kind of interaction that was malevolent. You know, some people are like, that's so violating and so manipulative. I agreed to play this Monopoly game. Do you know? Do I know? You know, I know that I am functioning in this reality and that some weird shit is happening here and that I agreed to partake in it. So I just wanted to share that because coming up very shortly, spoiler alert, things are going to start getting even far more fascinating. You know, it's increased to where the entire atmosphere when you walk outside looks completely different now. The cloudscape looks different. What's happening here in Ireland with, you know, with our influx of refugees coming in, the landscape of Ireland is changing. The peoplescape is changing. The way we have to interact with one another, the things that we have to do to preserve rights and freedoms and assisting other people simultaneously, those things are all changing. And so a lot of people have always, you know, have been like, oh yeah, the next thing, the aliens are coming. Well, you know, you have been manipulated for a very, very long time because that's how this plane works, and people are kind of waking up from that and going, oh my gosh, I didn't realize I was coerced into doing that. Yeah, you know, and it's not something that just happened a few years ago. From the time you set foot on this planet, you have been immersed in a system that is built on conditioning you subliminally, causing you not to question certain authoritative behaviors, certain rights. You just accept it, just accept it, just accept it, just accept it. And this is what's happened to a lot of people. A lot of people are really, really worn down. And so as we come out of this pandemic and people are kind of like, I'm not playing that anymore, you know, screw the monkeypox. I'm not doing it. I'm not taking, how many times have I heard, I'm not taking another one of those shots when they've already had 4. I'm not doing another one, you know, and yay, that's wonderful. I'm so glad. But recognize that you are partaking in a system that is completely 100% conditioned you. So the next obvious step right now in this attempt to solve local problems on a global scale, because let's face it, that's literally what's happening. You know, we're trying to, that kind of one world, that one love concept. I'm all about one love, but that one world concept of forcing everybody into the same experience when every soul that's coming here is here because Earth offers such a wild dichotomy of experiences. It's shifting. That transition is taking place where we're trying to kind of normalize everybody being the same. And so another way to do that is to create a global threat. Well, we did that through a virus. So what's the next logical step in this if you really break it down? You know, there's going to be some external invasion, not us against one another, because I mean, like, it's happening right under your noses where, you know, people are like, oh my God, it's, you know, Russia and the Ukraine. I'm like, go do a little bit of homework and see who's actually playing ball with Russia right now and fighting, and the Ukrainians are the fallout. But, you know, that's for another day. So, you know, this is all happening kind of under people's noses, and then they get fed some stuff in the news, and they get this, and then they formulate ideas. Okay, so the next logical thing is that we have a global threat. You know, could it be an asteroid? Could it be an alien invasion? There you go. So what can we do, again, to try and unite people globally is to have a common threat. So that's what the virus was, a common threat to anybody. It didn't, you know, it didn't discriminate on shape or color or size or nationality or social status or financial status. And so the very same with an alien invasion. So you're seeing a huge kind of increase in podcasts about aliens, about abductions, and photographs and things that are being slipped out that used to be heavily monitored. It's not that any more activity is taking place. It's that you being allowed to see it is not being as heavily monitored because the drip, drip, drip is now turning into a slow pour. So, you know, you see these things like what I saw last night. Now, is it a real thing? Is it I don't know, because it's very hard to tell the difference between what's actually generated and what is actually, you know, an actual thing. And I particularly, I don't necessarily think that they're, you know, coming from all over in these other worlds. I actually think there's, you know, because I understand how concurrent time works and that timeline that we live on is not linear, you know, I think we're very able to come and visit ourselves. So I think we can see, you know, genetic progressions of ourselves from different times visiting. And I also think we're here, we can help one another, you know. So I actually firmly believe, because this is not the first time I've had something put in the body, and I have MRI evidence, photographic evidence, and I'll put it up for you so you can see it. You know, there's no explanation. And if you think you have it, then bravo, because nobody else has been able to say what it was. And it's changed my life following each event. And I'm still kicking. I'm still here, so I can't see that as malevolent. So yeah, anyway, I just wanted to talk to you about that. Keep your eyes and ears open so that you don't get frightened to death. You know, we have the capacity now to manipulate the global experience through social media. We also have the capacity to create holographic projections and imagery and to distort what your perception of reality looks like. And so I think you're going to see a lot more of that coming up very shortly. Because then the more scared you are, the more you feel like you are at threat, the more compliant you'll be, and the easier it will be to mold you into a one world community. You know, it is what it is, and you're here, like I said, just like me. You know, we came here to be here at this time and to play ball, but it's really fascinating. But, you know, those friends that you've made fun of, or those friends that have tried to tell you something happened to them and you know, pee-shawed them and you were just like, you know, you're ridiculous, or you're a Fruit Loop, or you're a Looney Tune. Look, I've worn all the names. I love them all. But, you know, just be aware there's a lot more substance to some of the things that you've been told. Because just because you haven't personally experienced it doesn't mean it's not real. There are some of you out here who have never been to war, let's say, and you might live with somebody who's experiencing the fallout, like a post-traumatic stress disorder from that, and it really gets under your skin because, oh my God, there's such a pain, and they're always sick, or there's always something wrong with them, all that. Well, you didn't live their experience. You're living the fallout from their experience. And so just be aware that there are people walking amongst you of all shapes and sizes and of all origins, by the way, who have had different experiences than you. So I think it's really fun the more we talk about it. You know, if we're gonna normalize anything, if we wanna come together on something, rather than trying to make us all the same, at least have the same understanding that this world isn't anything like what you thought it was. The stories that you've been told, the things that you've been sold, the way that you act, the judgments that you make, you know, your kids are in school, then, you know, they've been conditioned to a school system that teaches in one particular way, and they're teaching, you know, then you've got kids now. I work every single freaking day now with children with anxiety all day long, every day. And it's hardcore. Like, they're like pulling their skin off, they're pulling their hair out, they're self-harming, like it's real. And, you know, people in my age group, and they look back going, oh my God, these kids don't know how to cope, and it's all the phones, and it's this and that. Yeah, well, we're not having their experience. They're having a completely different experience of a world that's full of stimulus than we did. They are part of that conditioning that is moving us towards, I think, a hybrid experience as human beings and artificial intelligence. That's where we're going. And so these kids are in that transition team, and it is very hard for them. And so all we can do is just love and help one another for whatever the crazy experience has to offer. So it's really interesting because I think these kids have lost in their transition the art of anticipation. Therefore, anticipation, if they're not getting something instantly, like the result of something, or not knowing something for 2 weeks, they have to wait to find out the result of something, or if you know, where they're going to live is uncertain or whatever, it becomes this horrible anxiety, as opposed to the art of anticipation and the excitement of not knowing. That's gone. So it's really important that we support and lift each other up, but also remind each other, be very, very aware that the experience that we are all going through right now is different for each and every one of us. But be sure that you know you're in a world that is being manipulated. And sometimes it's positive manipulation, and other times it's not. You know, is there one grand puppet master? No, there's lots. So just next time that crazy friend of yours tells you something, rather than laughing or sitting in judgment or making them feel like they're different than you, guess what? They are different than you because they've had an experience that you haven't. So rather than jeering or making fun of or trying to classify them as one of those conspiracy theorists or nut jobs, why don't you sit down and listen to what they have to say? You might learn something. Peace out, y'all.